Hello, welcome to today's project update. This is the final update for the Ork Killa can project. Now, as you see, I've got all three done. If you saw my how to paint a Killa can, you've seen this one painted up. The other two are patterned very similarly to it. Let's take a quick look. So, in both these cases, both models, they're almost identical. The only difference really is this eyepiece lens. There's a bit that was added to that kit. It's probably part of the original kit. It just didn't make it onto this model. Again, I got these things separate, secondhand. And of course, the weapon arms themselves are a little different. But as far as the body itself, they're identical. So I had to try to go through and mix things up. So whereas the wires here are red all around, here it's a combination of red on back, black on front, red on front, black on back. The hatch colors differed, and the placement of the front, the red maroon color on the front is different. Throwing that gold trim around the visor slit on the right really kind of helped separate that out. So they look similar, but I think with the weapon detail change and the color detail change, they definitely look like different monsters. Now, having also developed or painted up my different weapon systems in different colors, so I've got two Gratzukas, two rocket launches, one each in maroon, and then one in the black with the silver dry brush. Both of those fit on either one of these. Sorry about that. And you'll end up having a interesting looking creature. So here, can put that there and this over here, and now they definitely look different, even though the base model is the same. So that way I don't have a unit that looks like a cookie cutter, which is not something that the mechs would do. Alright, so anyway, so there's not a whole lot to talk about with these two models. So let's take a look at this one. This was the scratch built one. Okay. Now, you can see on the glyph plate, there's a lot of nicks. A lot of nicks on there, on the edges, and so those are where I hit that silver to make those stand out. Instead of going for white on this one with the raised glyphs, which I did do here on this side, I went with silver for most of it. And here I used my Ork metal mix to paint up the exhaust stacks. Left this with the Mechanicus ribbon on it. Figured no reason to take that off. They're Orks. They don't really care. All they care about is that it works. It powers the unit. Okay, so again, silver on that. Not a whole lot of color outside the glyph plates being painted maroon. That was intentional. And then the hatch crank is actually red. So, all right. Now you can see on the blades, these are painted that silver steel color with a silver, bright silver blade area, just to differentiate it a little bit. It stands out really, really, really well on this video. Okay. Now here, on this, here's an example of going with the flow. This piece came off Electropriest set. Unfortunately, as I was, when I went to select this piece, because they had the right orientation of ends, I noticed that one of the wires was busted. And that wire actually, there's a piece that was attached to the sprue. So I went ahead and just cut it, used it as is, and then bent those wire pieces away from the rest of the bundle to exaggerate it and makes it look like there's a broken wire. So he is all set. Now the last thing I'll point out, I'll take a look at the base. The way I based all three of these are 60 millimeter bases, so I didn't want to do a lot of extra work on bases. I want to get these things done quickly. So instead of going with just base green all the way across, I used soil clay and green foam from like Woodland Scenic green foam. And the way I applied it, I was able to get a very natural looking base. Wow, the wind is pretty bad out here right now. A pretty natural looking base on all three of these, including some what look like little rocks and such. That's one of the advantages of using a clay soil, is you do get very small rocks that and clumps of clay that actually lend themselves well to conveying that scene. Alright, so there is the model set. I will probably be running them with a Gratzuka and a Scorcha, just because I've never used them before, but those weapons seem to do real well. So that's probably the way I'll load them out. So 2 Gratzukas and a Scorcha, and we're ready to go. It'll be a bit before I do a Studio Army review of this particular model set, because I need to do some work to try to understand how best to use them, how they're going to fit in my army. But it's 3 models down off my queue, 2 that were there and 1 that I added. So let's move on to the next project, whatever that's going to be. So thanks for sticking with me. Hope that you found this entertaining, if not actually informative. And I will see you in the next video. Alright, bye-bye.